My name is Erica Marie Morris, and you are listening to the Candle Business Podcast, where we talk all things about starting, running, and growing a successful candle business. From marketing to mental health, I cover a wide range of real-life topics that involve the crazy and wonderful ups and downs that is being a small business owner. About 20% of new businesses will fail in the first 2 years. About 45% will fail in the first 5 years, and 65% will fail in the first 10 years. Why is it that so many new businesses are failing? Is it really that hard to keep a business going to actually be successful at it? Yes, it is. It is really that hard. It really is that hard. But it is doable. It's not impossible. I promise it's not impossible. But it's kind of like when you say to yourself, okay, we're going to have a baby, we're going to have children. I know it's going to be challenging, but we'll get through it. We'll, figure it out. And then you go through it. Then you're actually living it versus thinking about this future reality that you're going to be living. And it is so much harder than you ever thought it was going to be. At least maybe that's how I feel right now because I'm in the thick of it. But it is very challenging. Yes, you adapt and you learn and you figure it out, but it is very challenging and you do have to think strategic with many things in your life. And you may have actually asked yourself in your head, do I actually have what it takes to run a successful candle business? Is this for me? Is this something I'll actually be able to do? Or is this going to be something that no matter what, I'm going to fail at? So why even try? And I completely understand if you're feeling that way, especially if you're somebody who has never run a business before and this is going to be your first time trying something out. There is a lot to learn, but it is not impossible to run a successful candle business or business in general if you have never ran a business before. It is very challenging. It is very hard, and you have to be willing to learn and be able to figure things out and be self-sufficient and self-motivating and all of the things that go into running a business and being an entrepreneur. But in today's podcast episode, I really want to go into the fact that running a successful business does not happen by accident. It's not something that you get lucky at, that somebody is just lucky and they're doing really well in their business. It's something that people have to actually plan for. It's something that you have to have all of these different factors and all of these different things running well in order to have a successful candle business in the long run. So what I want to talk about in today's podcast episode is some of the top reasons on why most new businesses fail and how you can avoid that from happening to you. The first reason is due to a lack of planning. And I think the saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I completely agree with this. I did not know that I needed to plan anything with my business. I really didn't think like a business owner. I thought way more on the creative side of my brain, even though I had been more in the business mindset around that time and I had tried different business ventures. I still didn't really understand what I should have been thinking about in the very beginning. And to be completely honest, I've only recently started to really understand a lot more of the business side of things when it comes to running a business, because it takes a lot of experience and just kind of trial and error with going through it, really going through it, because, when I got started, I jumped in just kind of excited about the creative side of everything. And I focused on, all of the creativity. I talked about this in a recent video. I focused on, my labels, my brand name, getting my Etsy shop together. And you may be in kind of this mindset right now to where you're thinking, okay, I went through all the testing, I'm finally done with the testing, or maybe you're almost done with the testing. and then you can get your candle labels, the way your labels look, your fragrances, and then you're figuring out website and how to actually get your candles online to where people are able to purchase them. And that can feel like a win. And it is. It really is a win to get through that. But that's just the beginning. And that in and of itself can feel like a journey of moving from hobbyist to business owner, and all of the changes and everything that comes into play in that moment can be really, really challenging and really just kind of all over the place. So it can feel very difficult when you have this lack of planning. And when I got started, I didn't know what I didn't know. And it kind of made me just put out my products online and just kind of hope that people were going to like them, and hopefully people were going to see my products and resonate with something with them and want to buy them. And I want you to do it completely different than how I did it. I want you to have a plan. So if most businesses are failing because of a lack of planning, I want you to plan. I want you to have a purpose. I want you to have your mission for your business. I want you to have goals for your business. I want you to think ahead in terms of being a business owner, and not just, going through the motions of, I have a product, I'm going to make an Etsy shop, and then I'm going to wait. And that's kind of how it is when running a business, right? You have a product to sell, but there's so much more to that. So this is definitely one of the top reasons on why a lot of businesses fail. And to be honest, a really big reason why I created the ultimate guide to starting a candle business, and why I'm adding more to that, is because I want people getting started in their candle business to have a better head start than I did, because I knew nothing. So I really knew nothing. And that is out in case you are interested. It is ericamarieMorris.com/guide. And I will also have it in the pinned comment if you're watching on YouTube. But that is basically just kind of your step-by-step, all the information I wish I knew when I was getting started, to help give you direction and planning and knowledge going into it. Because the lack of knowledge and lack of education as a business owner when you're first getting started can be extremely overwhelming and a detriment to the overall success of your business, because you can make decisions that you wouldn't have. So you can make more poor decisions that actually don't lead to sales. It doesn't lead to success. You don't know what you don't know, basically. And that's how I was in the beginning. I did not know. And it's interesting looking back, even last year up until right now, I feel like there's so many things that have finally clicked. There are certain things that I'm like, wow, I actually understand this a lot more. And we'll get into it in the next point. But there are so many things that I am like, okay, I get it. I understand a little bit more of the business mindset. And it's even taken me, I'm on year 4, you guys, and it can take a long time. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm not here to, BS you, to put things, I guess that's the best way I can describe it. I'm not here to try to tell everybody that everybody should start a candle business because everybody will succeed. That's not true. And that would be lying to you. But I know there is somebody listening to this podcast who knows inside of them that they most likely can do it if they put in the work, they research, they educate themselves, and they really take action. And I'm talking to you in today's episode because I know that you can do it. It's very, very hard. None of this is easy. It can be really fun. And it can be really hard and really upsetting sometimes. And there's a lot of ups and downs with business. But in this episode, I just want to go over these points here to make you aware of things that you should be thinking of as you are getting started in your business. And number 2, the second reason that causes most businesses to fail is not knowing your audience. Man, do I wish I would have known this in the beginning. I feel like I had heard this, figure out your target market, know your target market. And if you think that I am being too repetitive with this lately, if you've been watching my content and you're like, okay, Erica, you've mentioned this, because I want to just mention it over and over and over again, because it is so, so vital to you getting sales, to the success of your business, to reaching your goals. It's so, so important. And I will keep talking about it, to be honest. I'm never going to stop talking about it, because that is something that has finally clicked with me. It's finally made sense to me, and kind of something like, okay, I understand the working backwards and finding your target market, creating a product for them, and then knowing exactly who you are selling to, so that you're not making something for everybody and end up selling to no one, which I know that many of you listening to this right now have the same mindset that I did in the beginning, where I thought, well, isn't my target market people who buy candles? That's my target market, is people who like candles, people who, purchase from Bath and Body Works, and they, they like candles. Isn't that my market? I'm making candles. I'm selling to people who want to buy candles. That's exactly what I thought of. And what I want to do is give you some examples, because I didn't even understand, the thought of, okay, how do I narrow it down? So some examples that I can think of off the top of my head is there is a company they're a candle company, and they're actually local to me. I've done some markets with them, and they pivoted their business model and their target market, and they sell like stoner marijuana inspired candles, and specifically wholesaling to smoke shops. So they have their very niche down target market. So they have their wholesale line, and they provide these themed candles that go into smoke shops and, shops that are very similar to that. That's not my ideal. I'm not a target market for that. Definitely not. But I see the target market. You can go through and look at certain brands and see visually who they are targeting. And you may not be the target audience, and that's completely okay. But by narrowing it down, who are you selling your candles to? And then you can work backwards and figure it out. So this company, they're not just going to make, lavender candles, vanilla candles, whatever it is. Like, they are formulating their fragrances and their scents to match the target audience, to be what their target market would actually want to purchase. So that is what I'm meaning, is that you need to niche down and be specific. Who are you selling to? Are you selling to high-end hotels? Then you may want to create your fragrances that are going to be able to complement these higher end hotels. Or maybe you're going to be targeting event planners, so wedding planners, corporate event planners, and you are trying to customize your products and your candles around this market. And you're creating scents and sizes of candles and the look of your candles based on your target market. So instead of creating your candle, choosing everything, and then trying to figure out who is going to purchase from you, you have to do the complete opposite. And that's not what I did. I focused on my product, and then I put it out on the market, and then I was like, all right, who wants to buy my candles? And that is literally the complete opposite of what you want to do. And I have a whole video planned going into how to figure out your target market. And I'm even working on a whole video module, like a course basically inside of the Ultimate Candle Business Guide, where I'm going to show you exactly, like, step by step on what to do to make sure that you get your first sale from a complete stranger, and going through target market, creating a product, having the customers or your future customers, your target market, create the product essentially with you, and then you're going to be selling it to them. So I have this whole video course being created right now that I'm going to be adding because I think that this is the most valuable thing that I can provide to you that I wish that I would have had. Because yes, I can talk all day about, how to create a website or how to design and print off your labels at home. But if you don't get any sales, then what's the point of having a business? We all want to actually make sales in our business. So that is going to be a huge focal point on this candle business guide that I have created, because I want you to succeed. I want you to feel what it feels like to sell your candles to a complete stranger, to know that you are providing value and that you have created something that somebody really, really wants. That is just such a great feeling, to know that you have created something for somebody else. You know who you're creating that product for, and that you are providing that value to that customer. I feel like I'm so passionate about this topic right now, and I can talk about this forever because I think that this is so imperative to new candle business owners to know in order to actually be successful and in order to actually make sales in your business. And the last point that I wanted to talk about on the reasons why new businesses fail is an unwillingness to learn, adapt, or pivot, aka you're stubborn as hell. I'm married to somebody who I would describe as being stubborn. I'm actually not really that stubborn. I'm pretty much open to feedback. The only thing that I feel is what's the term, where I feel really offended. I get discouraged really easily. I get, whatever it is. I feel that rejection, sensitivity thing. I don't know. I've read about it before, to where I can feel really, really bad about myself, and it's just being really hard on myself whenever somebody doesn't like something that I do. And that's taken a lot of years to kind of figure out on myself, on who I am. But in business, being stubborn and not willing to adapt or pivot things or learn anything new, especially if, let's say, you are a little bit older and there's all of this new technology and social media, and a lot of it can require you to step outside of your comfort zone and learn these new platforms. And even if you are younger, there are still new things that you're constantly learning and constantly trying to figure out. And if you're not willing to learn or change anything in your business, then this really can lead to the failure of your business, because times are always going to be changing. There's always going to be new ways to market. There's always going to be new platforms and things that you're going to have to learn in order to keep up with the growing world and the way that things are done in business. Stubbornness can also make it to where you don't take feedback lightly, whether it's from your peers, your family, or your customers, which are the most important part of your business. Out of anybody, your customers are the most important part. Your customer feedback is the most important thing that you should pay attention to and listen to. Out of anybody else in your life, your customers are the most important. I have a really good example of this. If you guys know who Cassie Ho is from Blogilates, she has kind of transformed her workout centered only. Like, I think she's done apps and workout content and stuff like that online, obviously her YouTube videos, but she also has created a clothing line called, oh my gosh, I can't even think of it right now. Poplottie. I can't think of it right now, but she has her clothing line. I haven't personally purchased from her before, but I do follow her and I see her content pop up. And one of the things that I really admire about her is that she listens to her audience. She listens to what people are wanting and she doesn't dismiss them as just being like, oh, well, if they don't like it, then they don't have to buy it. She actually listens to what people are wanting. So if she has created an outfit, let's say it is a workout top, and let's say it's cropped, so it goes kind of above the belly button area. And she gets a lot of comments of people saying, oh, I would love this if it was full length. What she'll do is she'll say, okay, that's what people want. And then she'll create that product for them. Or if people are wanting something in pockets, or if they want more of like jogger leggings instead of the regular, super tight leggings, whatever it is. She listens to her audience and she makes changes. And this is something that I really, really would love for you to implement as well in your business. Listen to your customers. Be willing to learn and adapt and change if people are saying, hey, they don't like a certain scent, or if you've gotten multiple requests for a certain kind of scent, or if you've gotten requests for gift sets, or you've gotten requests for certain sizes. Listen to your customers and listen to the feedback on what they are giving you. This is something that I didn't realize for the longest time. I wasn't really listening, especially at local vendor events. People would talk about doing events or wedding candles, and they wanted something that was smaller than our 6-ounce matte black candles. And we would be like, oh, that's the smallest size we have. And people wanted something smaller. So about a year ago, I decided to add on the little 1.5 ounce candles in golds. And those have actually done really well for weddings and events, and they've sold really well wholesale as well. And if I would have never brought that on, we wouldn't have gotten those sales, and I didn't know to just bring that on. You have to listen to your customers. That is kind of the number one takeaway here from this point right here, is that you have to be willing to adapt and learn and really, really listen. Listening is a business owner's superpower. If you listen to what people are wanting, you'll be successful in your business. So just as an overview, some of the top reasons why businesses fail is due to a lack of planning, not knowing your audience, and an unwillingness to learn, adapt, and pivot, aka being super stubborn. And you can overcome these. You can not make the same mistakes that other businesses are making that's leading to them failing. You can plan well, you can know your audience, and you can adapt and pivot and learn new things for your business and grow over time and figure out the things that you need to be doing to be successful. Again, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but you can do it. And I know that there are people listening to this right now that will succeed, and they will create a business that is thriving and something that you are going to be so proud of and so happy that you took the time to really plan out your business and to know what you need to be doing in order to create that successful business. And with that, I am going to make Chris dinner right now. Because he is headed home from playing hockey, and I want to make sure I can get him something to eat when he gets home. Baby boy is sleeping, so we're trying not to wake him up because he sleeps right next to the kitchen, because that's just our living situation right now. So I'm going to do my best to cook as quietly as possible. If you've ever had to cook quietly, man, it is very hard. It is very hard to cook quietly. I swear, you try to be quiet and everything is like so loud. You open up the drawer and you're like, I didn't know that squeaked that loud. You're trying to be so quiet. But with that, I will see you in my next episode.